Hello and welcome to the ugly side of marketplace app migrations for Jira and Confluence. My name is Michael Roberts, Vice President of Sales and Marketing at SPK and Associates. I'm here today with Carlos Almeida. Carlos, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey, Mike, this is Carlos Almeida, Engineering VP, responsible for all of the engineering, implementation and architecture and process flow with SPK.
So Carlos and his team have a lot of experience with Atlassian marketplace app migrations. And we're here today to talk a little bit about some of those migrations and maybe some of the ugly sides of those migrations. And in technology, usually when you hear migration, it doesn't mean easy in a lot of cases. So we wanted to share a little bit of background and context around some of the things that we've seen with the Atlassian marketplace apps and migrations from on-premise to cloud, or just on-prem to on-prem. So, Carlos, can you give me a little background of the difference between the on-prem database versions and the Atlassian Cloud APIs as it relates to the impact for migrations and the migration process?
Oh, absolutely. So just to give a little bit of context, as of my last query, I just looked, there's over 5,700 marketplace apps out there. All right. So those are third-party tools which add value to Confluence, Jira, Bitbucket. I'm not really a fan of calling these apps or plugins because while some of these are utilities, some of these are really full-blown, rich products with quite a bit of functionality. It's like it would be a disservice to call them an app or a plugin. Okay. So because of this added weight, I like to say that the marketplace app or tail can wag the Jira or Confluence dog with respect to migrations. In other words, we can spend a ton of time, more time and effort than originally planned, only on the apps versus the Jira and Confluence core system. So with respect to the APIs, with on-prem, your apps interact with Jira and Confluence using direct calls to the database, which you can access with your DBA. It's quite powerful. So you have a lot more control. It's contained behind your firewall. It's pretty much that environment. There are RESTful APIs, but they're tailored for the on-prem environments, right? On the cloud side, the direct database access is gone. You have no access to it. So all your app database interactions must go through Atlassian's Cloud RESTful APIs, which may not be the same at all as the on-prem version of these APIs. So first you get past the fact that I can't query my database and I can't do all my things I used to do. I have to go through RESTful API. Okay. But then once you get there, you find out that the back end often is quite different because the cloud vendors often have created a separate branch for their product. Moving it to cloud is one thing, but even the code base underneath it is often a forked code base, which completely back end. So there's a lot to learn in that world, but they're really like two very apples and oranges comparison.
That is very true. It is apples and oranges sometimes. So Carlos, can you give us the migrations that we've done? Can you give me a little idea of some of the most common challenges we face with these marketplace app migrations from either server or data center to cloud?
Absolutely. So when we go in, we first have to start at the ground zero. Does the app vendor even have a cloud version of the app that you care about, right? So if not, then we can help you and we'll work with you to help find an alternative, right? But next we dive into the app itself. Is it cloud fortified? This is an Atlassian term. If it is, this may help with the migration because with cloud fortified apps, you have enhanced security. Better think about that because now you're taking things which was behind your firewall and putting on the cloud. So your security team needs to be aware of that. So the cloud fortification, to get that badge, they have to show that they have regular security checks and enhanced security practices. They have to meet compliance standards like SOC 2 and GDPR. Also, to get that badge, it says to Atlassian that the app vendor has done more testing on their platform, on the cloud, that they have better 24/7 support. And hopefully, with all that, their JCMA or Jira Migration Assistant or CCMA, Confluence Migration Assistant, can do more of the heavy lifting as we move things over, so that you're digging into the app. Now, you start looking at the migration documentation, right? 5,700 apps. You go in there. If they're there, is there any documentation, right? Sometimes it's pretty lightweight. And you have to create a help ticket to even get that information. So what we do is we go and find everything there is. And so when we go in, we find documentation, how much of it comes over? Will it come over automatically, or do we have to rebuild it from scratch? So for example, if you're using ScriptRunner, which is very common for a lot of our customers, you'll find that you're often having to remake your automation. And if that's the case, we often are pointing them to the out-of-the-box automation rules that you get with the cloud. So there is a little bit of shift to sometimes replacing by other things. So digging into the migration itself. And then another thing that we have to deal with is the data. So the customer app data is a big thing in itself. So like I said, often these are full-fledged big products. A common scenario, I say a lot of them are using testing platforms, right? Testing platforms, the customers care about, well, I want all my test cases to come over, not just the configuration of the thing, but all the test cases, the test case runs and all the history and all of the workflow approvals, everything that's in there needs to come over as well. So that's raw data for the very specific app. We're not even on the Jira side. We're on the app side because it's very unique to that thing. So how easy is it to do that? Sometimes it's quite a bit of work and doing a lot of CSV imports and exports and all kinds of stuff. So that's something to be considering. And then one last more, and I won't call it fun, but sometimes it's tricky. I call it version creep. If your cloud app requires your server data center to be on a different version than your currently app, we've seen that one app drag the whole server or data infrastructure to an upgrade. Right? Now, that is a non-trivial event. If you're in production, now you got to do this upgrade of your existing environment and then and validate that or do all your testing. So it's another large project even before we even started the project. The one app can kind of, tell you what to do. Again, the app tail is wagging the migration dog.
I love your analogy there of the tail and the dog, because that is exactly how it is. So, given all those challenges, have you been able to come up with some basic best practices that you'd recommend for thorough assessment of any app's ability to migrate to the Atlassian cloud?
Absolutely. So first of all, if you work with us, we can help you. But in essence, it's rolling up your sleeves and doing the homework. A lot of it is some of the stuff I just said. But what we often do when we start an engagement and on your end is first see the business side, right? Do you even need this app, right? If you bring it over to the cloud, you're going to pay for it. So some of the things I recommend, obviously you want to talk to your key stakeholders to see if they're using it, but we can also help you to get some metrics, usage metrics. When was the last time anyone used this app? How many people are using this app? Is it sitting out there and you're paying for it? Remember, apps are paid per user. So if you have 500 people and you have one person who ordered Jira Poker for your agile estimation, you're paid for 500 licenses of Jira Poker estimation. So you definitely want to spend your time doing the business side. So we can help you at least get the ducks in a row. And then after that, instead of repeating myself a little bit, is digging in to all of the apps. Is it cloud certified? Is it going to come over as well? So we often try to do this. We do some of it before we get in. And then we also have to look at, this is important, is feature compare. Because once you dig in, sometimes what is on the cloud does not line up with what is on the server or data center. It just behaves differently. So what we want to do there is you're going to probably have to factor in some user training, maybe some testing on their end, because if we bring it over and it doesn't work the way you want it to, or it's different, you have to think about that and plan for it. So in a nutshell, just sort of framing it on the engagement itself. The way SBK does it is first we go through this whole assessment piece, trying to get as much as we can just by mining the information that's available and leveraging our experience, having done many of these apps for multiple customers. Then we plan a series of sprints. The sprints, we start with, the first sprint is usually just bringing Jira and Confluence core stuff over, and we clean it up. Make sure there's no issues with just the basic projects fields, custom fields, screens, dashboards, queries, all that stuff. Then we bring the apps. That's where the fun begins. And typically we budget, another 2 to 4 more sprints to just churn through all that. And what we do is we putting this into a sandbox area if you already have an existing cloud, or we will create, since it's a brand new cloud, the new cloud area would be your sandbox, right? So what we do is first we coordinate with you and we minimize any impact to your existing users. So we do a lot of this late night pulling of data. We're not changing anything on the server or data center, we're pulling it. So we just want to minimize, it feel like someone's doing a backup on the system. We want to minimize the performance issue. We do it, and then we mitigate the issues. We bring you into the site, the cloud site, and let you play with it. So you can go through and together as a team, we mitigate all the issues and get it so where we're building a run book. So the goal is we can go from beginning to end with every issue mitigated with metrics. And the goal here is we want to actually ultimately do, once this is all ready, a migration overnight, right? So since we've practiced this for a while and we've had several sprints where your users have been finding the issues and mitigating, the migration, if we did our job, is a non-event. It's like, we already did all this. There's no surprises. We just do it. We try to get it done overnight. And so, we want a go live experience for your users, which is effortless. Meaning, just here's a new location. There's one little handhold at the end where we do the URLs and sync up between Confluence and Jira, which is a back end, which Atlassian helps us. But ultimately, this is how we go. We measure ourselves weekly. You're part of it. It's a team effort. So that's how we can help you working with a partner like SPK.
Awesome. Thanks, Carlos. I really appreciate it. And there are for sure some ugly sides to migrating from on-prem to the cloud, especially on the app side. So thank you for detailing some of that and at least giving our viewers a context on how you can mitigate some of those challenges and risks. On behalf of Carlos Almeida, my name is Michael Roberts. Thank you for joining us today. If you like more content like this, please don't forget to like and subscribe to SBK's YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.